Hello everyone, welcome to Name Pending Creations Name Pending Cast, and this is going to be our coverage of E3. We're a bit late starting up because a lot of us has...
Are we NP channel?
Yeah, well, we're MP channel because we're NPC, and this is the MP cast on MP channel because it's kind of just an open discussion.
This is confusing as fuck.
Real life responsibilities prevented us from releasing the video sooner.
But here we are, and we're going to try our best to cover what we found interesting at the first day of E3. So, we're going to start off with the Microsoft Xbox panel.
The Xbox boner
conference.
So, that Project Spark, though.
We'll start off with talking about Project Spark because it was one of the more interesting things. I know they had a trailer for it last year, and they were really hyping up their whole, create your game type of aspect of it. And
world building. Mm-hmm.
Last year, I didn't really care about it too much because it just basically looked like it looked akin to like the Toy Story 3 toy box and like sort of the same thing that Disney Infinity kind of is, where it's basically like here's a bunch of pieces to play with. Put them in any order you want and play with it, and I think that's kind of cool. But it's like you could play Minecraft, you could play Toy Story 3, you could play all those games, get the same experience. Here we actually got to see with this new trailer that you can actually, I think maybe do a little bit of coding of your own and import models and things like that to give your little personal game its own flavor, which the first trailer didn't have at all. So now I'm actually pretty excited.
Yeah, that's probably why they also referenced Conquer at the end of it. For those who really like Conquer. They basically said they're not going to make a Conquer game, but I guess you're going to have to make your own.
Which fucking trolly as hell.
Which some people might be upset about, but I think that's kind of cool.
I think it's cool too.
Yeah, you make your own Conquer game. He's probably going to be a free model released to everybody with like a voice pack and like some mechanics that you can use and build your own game from scratch with. And that's kind of interesting because I think that could really open up the door to not only more rare properties who aren't getting used like Banjo-Kazooie, Perfect Dark. We can also see other characters and models and mechanics being brought out for us to use in Project Spark, and I think that's a really good thing for anybody who wants to be a creator. My thing is I kind of want to see how this works out. If it works out sort of like the Little Big Planet make your own level thing, and it's only really popular within Little Big Planet, or if it'll still have like the kind of reach that like RPG Maker or something has, where you can make a game with Project Spark and export that game and just sort of put it out as a game on its own.
I think
that'd be awesome.
Well, from what they showed, it looked like you can play with other players and you can play their games. So it might feel like Little Planet, but I don't know. You could probably. I don't see why it couldn't be its Xbox. So
yeah, that's well, we're just all excited for it, I guess. Like unanimously excited for Project Spark.
Yeah, it is interesting. So
next game, Super Ultra Dead Rising Uru.
Yeah, I was kind of burnt out on Dead Rising after Dead Rising 2, and that's sort of where I like fell off. I was like, nah, it's not for me. And then when they became Xbox exclusive, I was even more out of there because I guess we should have started by saying we all have very rocky relationships with the Xbox.
Yeah, I've just never been interested in a lot of the Xbox games, except of course some of the more independent developed games.
I mean, as for me, like I didn't really per se have a rocky relationship with it. I mean, I own an Xbox 360, but most of their games just don't interest me, and whatever does, I have it on PS3 and PC, so But Super Ultra Dead Rising, I thought looked really fucking fun because it reminded me of like arcade machines. Like I feel like this game would be played in an arcade, and it just looked overall really fun.
The downloadable content looked really fun as well for people who are really into Capcom.
Those skins, Chun-Li skins,
tons of Easter eggs, and just like it looks like an insanely good time. And I'm really happy to see this is where the Dead Rising is going on the Xbox. And that's like a really good title for them because I think they need more stuff like that, like different from all their like shooting games and all those other kind of grim looking titles they had. I was really surprised at how Nintendo like Xbox lineup looked. Like no two games really looked alike, and that was a first for Xbox. So I really thought that was cool.
Yeah, especially when this is the video that we started off watching basically, and yeah, it really is different because when I used to think Xbox, at least with the 360 and the old Xbox, I guess a stereotype or like this image that I had is that it's just a bunch of shooters. The controller is made for shooters, but with this lineup and the conference, actually the games look pretty solid. So yeah.
All right, moving on. We have Another World.
Yeah, it's 20th anniversary, I think it was, remake of the game. So
yep, remake. I don't know much about the game personally, but I thought it actually looked really cool.
That art style has some
the art style was definitely what popped out to me.
And the music that they were using in there, it's all nice. So we're giving that game a thumbs up. We can't really say too much about it now because
since we don't know too much about it, really.
Little babies.
The trailer, the trailer made it seem nice though. All right, moving on then.
Estes. I like the art style, of course.
Oh yeah,
it looked really cool to see a side-scroller beat 'em up with that kind of art style. To me, anyway. I don't know. I kind of respect different art styles, so I just.
And it's got all the gore you need. It's like a side-scrolling God of War. It felt like, due to the flashy moves of the characters and attacks and stuff like that.
Yeah, really interesting about the art style. It looks a lot like it is like you're looking at actual Greek paintings on like the side of vases in motion, and that's kind of I haven't seen that really done since like Hercules. And that's
I was about
awesome
to say it's kind of like Hercules. All right, so now we have Phoenix Rage, the Super Meat Boy, the new Super Meat Boy, from what it looks like.
Looks
to me anyway.
Hard.
It looks
so
hard.
I will not be playing it. Like I saw that and I was just like, I can't do it.
I will definitely try, but
if you get it, I'll try it out definitely. I've always wanted to try Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, me too. I never did get around to actually playing it, but yeah, that looked pretty fun.
I guess another thing we should have said is that a lot of the beginning of our list is almost entirely
spit it out, man. Spit it out.
It's really late over here. It's just all of them are pretty much like they look like independently developed games, which is cool because Microsoft hasn't put forth that many before. Like usually that's like Sony's turf, but this year there's a lot of them. I'm gonna say I wouldn't necessarily say this means that we're gonna be leaning towards Xbox this E3. It just means that that during this conference we're seeing all of them. So these games might also come out on. Well, they will probably come out on PC, but they might also come out on PS3 and things. So, just wanted to say that beforehand. We're going to get to the Xbox exclusives pretty soon. We're just still covering these last few cool indie games, like Get Even, which was really weird. And the trailer didn't say anything about anything.
Wait, but we got to talk about Chariot.
Oh, yeah, Chariot.
Yeah, no, Chariot looked very interesting to me. The mechanics between, I'm not sure. I wonder if it would be like a co-op. Like, is it just by itself and you're just using those two characters? Or it'd be interesting if you had like a co-op, you had to coordinate with like.
I think it said it was co-op.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Chariot was the game with two characters riding on top of the king's chariot thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that game looks stupid hard to me because you'd have to communicate a lot with your partner, and you'd have to really learn the levels in order to get it down, in order to speedrun it. But I think that's a game I might try out.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I'd want to try out. It looked interesting to me.
I was a little less interested in it, but that was mostly due to a lot of the art aesthetics. Some mechanics look really cool, but outside of that, it just really didn't hold my attention as much as some of the other titles that we're going to talk about today.
All right, so now we're on to Get Even.
Yeah, just that trailer was a mix of live action and CG, and it was just I can't.
What is it even
a shooting
about?
Game? Is it like a Watch Dogs ripoff?
Maybe it's like Saw.
Yeah. Well, the graphics look nice. There was almost a point where I was like, "Is that real? Or is that CGI?" So the graphics were really nice. It was a nice graphics trailer. I can say that
because it's real life.
Yeah, it was.
But then again, real life sucks.
Live action.
It has bad graphics.
It was you could tell how different the CG looked because when the guys were on the ground, you could see that's obviously CG. But yeah, that's Get Even. There's not much to the trailer, so there's not much for us to talk about.
All right, so now we have Guacamelee.
Guacamelee just looks awesome. It just looks awesome. More Street Fighter references and things like that. It just looks awesome.
Pretty much.
It looks nice.
Which was all the awesome side-scrolling games, platformers.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really nice. I mean, in retrospect, though, it could be an oversaturation of it, and you'd end up seeing it all blurring together eventually. But From what I've seen so far, it all looks pretty cool.
That's kind of the cool thing. It's like, that'd be like saying, man, there's an oversaturation of ice cream. You just pick your favorite flavor.
That's true. Different flavors. That's true.
Perhaps it's just the year for this. I mean, a couple of years ago, I felt personally, I mean, with like Dota, League of Legends, and then like the DC MOBA coming out, and then with like the World of Warcraft, or no, not Blizzard. Sorry, the Blizzard MOBA coming out. I felt like there could be an oversaturation of MOBAs, and then even a little bit further back, it was kind of like the oversaturation with shooter games or whatever. So I don't know. It just could be a side-scrolling year. I don't know.
Yeah,
possibly.
Yep. All right. So now we have White Knight.
White Knight was a really awesome trailer.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
This is especially like my turf right here. It's horror. Oh, and it's mystery, and it's just so.
I do like mystery.
Cool.
It was horror, but it wasn't the same type of horror as like Outlast or some of the other horror games you guys have had me play, where it's like a big part of it is like not only is it shock humor or jump scares, but like you also have like a lot of gore and stuff, and like the whole asylum aesthetic. This was like kind of cool because it had like sort of like that German expressionist look going for it. It was like heavy blacks and heavy whites, and then that like also wrapped itself up into the mechanics of the light.
Yeah, I basically, you already said what I was going to say.
Exactly. That the light feature,
the fact that it has they have the art style along with the mechanics and all that stuff. It's just it was really awesome. I love the trailer,
and it also looks to be like heavy. Like the narrative plays a heavy play into the game, so I want to see how that works out too.
All right, we have Source, really flashy.
What can I say? I guess it's like it looked like kind of like Flow, and except with
a little bit of Tron,
a little bit of Tron, yeah.
And so that's pretty much all we can say about Source, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked how it looked, and I'd like to try it out. But other than that, I really don't have much else to say.
Yeah. I figured I'd try it eventually. I don't know if maybe not. I don't know. But I never played Flow myself. But yeah, it was pretty flashy like Flow though. All right, moving on to
#iDarb. #iDarb.
That shit looks so fun.
Going into that,
I didn't know
both of you guys were like, "This is stupid. This sounds like a stupid title."
Like,
I was ready. I was like, "That game's called #iDarb."
I didn't know what to. I didn't
know what to
trust it.
expect.
I didn't know what to expect.
And then, surely enough, we get
It was awesome.
Social Experiment. The game. It's kind of like the whole Pokemon Plays Twitch thing, where it's just like so many voices in a blender. Eventually leads to something, just like monkeys in a room with a bunch of typewriters. You get this, and so that's what #iDarb looks like. So it's just a bunch of voices that have just made this crazy game, and it's just going to get crazier and crazier.
It was pretty cool. I did like it.
Really want to see where that goes.
Kind of looked like if I was looking at it correctly, it looked like almost like you were playing like a soccer game. Sort of like you had to get into
but there were all these wacky things happening.
Yeah.
All right, there came an echo.
Yeah, it's like a pretty neat title for what the game is. It's like so much focus on the voice aspect of it, and I thought that was really interesting. They even showed you who all the actors were, and they have some cool talent there. They got like Yuri Lowenthal and Laura Bailey doing voices, and it's like that's really awesome. It's like it kind of looks like it might be a real time strategy, maybe MOBA, maybe just a blend of everything.
Yeah. It's definitely like kind of like XCOM, I guess. Like you can.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Not exactly
it looked like XCOM to me with the perspective, the view of the game. But then again, it makes it look like any other.
And oddly enough, it actually looked a lot. It looked very story based too, because it had consistent characters throughout. Like that might just be because maybe it's a make your own character, make your own squad type thing, like XCOM. But from the looks of it, it looked like there was some type of story going on. I'm kind of really interested to see if more is done with the voice throughout the game, because with the title like There Came an Echo, and then all the plays with the voices, you think that more aspects of the game would be ruled by that.
Yeah, hopefully so.
All right, Nero Journey meets Avatar.
I mean, I was interested at first. As it sort of played out, I was a little bit less interested, I guess. But it still looked really nice. It kind of had a little bit of Tron aspects. I don't know. There's like actually quite a few. Like, I mean, I guess it's just because of the lines. I'm sorry. Yeah,
It was just really pretty.
I was really into the Nero trailer. I just wish that maybe the narrative wasn't so forward. Like maybe just cut back on it or cut it out entirely and just let the visuals speak for themselves and the world speak for itself. Especially because it's supposed to be like this puzzle game that involves a setting. So I feel that the setting should have spoke for itself, not the narrative. But
I would have liked to have seen some gameplay too.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of trailers on this list though.
Yeah. All right. Never Alone.
I just want to kind of see what the game feels like it can be important. Sure, there are little things where it's like it looks a lot like other platformers. Like, there's tons of platformers coming out, and this one looks like a weaker one. It just looks very standard. Like I think that might just be because it has a much more contained like sort of art style with it, so it doesn't look as crazy as like Guacamelee or something. But it might just be a better built game. So I kind of want to see like how that works out. And it's also got a lot of baggage to it too. Apparently it's from the narration supposedly important, and this guy wants to tell stories.
He really wanted to like tell the story of his like people or whatever from the looks of it. So I mean it kind of had like there's just background to it.
So I kind of want to play it at least for that.
That's the major reason why I wanted to play. I mean, by the trailer and like what they showed, I mean, there was no facial expression on the girl or anything like that. So it's kind of like low budget. So it's more so like he's definitely got a story that he wants to tell. And I just want to experience it through a video game because he wants people to experience it through a video game as well. And that's kind of interesting.
Or it could just be maybe that's really underdeveloped at the moment. And that's why the girl didn't have like any true facial expressions.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I feel like it shouldn't take much to put in maybe a smile or a frown. But then again, I don't know anything about modeling myself,
and maybe they were just trying to make the cut or whatever just in time so they can't really have the time put in to finish that. Regardless, I'll probably try it out.
All right, Hyper Light Drifter. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I kind of didn't want it on this list because it sort of goes without saying how hype a lot of us are for Hyper Light Drifter. Since way back in its Kickstarter days, it's just been like one of those games where I'd be like, yes, I want this game to be made. I want this to come out. I want to be a part of this whole thing. It even personally had a big impact on a project of our own where we sort of were like, this is the kind of art direction we want to go with our game. More on that later, of course, but Hyper Light Drifter is just like a very like inspirational thing to us.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. I liked how it looked. I liked how it looked like it played. So I mean, it was like the first time I saw it personally, and there's nothing else I could really say that Thaddeus here couldn't have already said. So
there's nothing to say about Kickbeat. We will skip Kickbeat.
Oh, well then. I really didn't care about that game.
How about Lifeless Planet?
Lifeless Planet was a cool trailer. I just felt that it gave too much too soon.
Yeah, it gave too much.
I think it should have stopped on that really nice shot of the book with like sort of the Russian text on the front. Like that was like that would have been a great place to stop it. And it says all you need to and leaves enough mystery for us to actually want to explore when we actually play.
See, I wonder though, is that planet actually Earth, or is he hallucinating that it's Earth?
There could be tons of redirections in there, and we're just gonna have to play it to know the full story of it.
So now we have Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time.
Looks like a really fun co-op game.
Candy, sugar, awesome, fun time. Yes,
that looks so fun. Oh man, that looked like it could get really hectic, especially like you have one person like manning the controls of the ship, then you have another person manning the gun controls, and then you're like freaking out because all these asteroids are coming in. You have to manage like two weapons all of a sudden, then all of a sudden someone else has control the ship again, and oh my gosh, that looks crazy as heck.
Sunset Overdrive. I really like the trailer. I like the gameplay a lot. I like its style. I just personally like everything about it. Like something about it just really appeals to me. I've always wanted to play like a Bayonetta or Devil May Cry sort of game. I haven't been able to get my hands on one of them, but it looks really, really cool, and I just like the style of it all. So
Yeah, it was nice to finally see a gameplay trailer. When Sunset Overdrive first got like announced last E3 and everybody made a big stink about it, I tried to be like the one guy who was kind of hesitant. Because everybody was bitten by the bug immediately and they were all on board. I was like, there's no gameplay. Like, why are you guys all freaking out? Sure, it's got style, but so does a ton of other things. You know, what does that style mean if it's not fun to play? And it's just like, I was so against like it until I got some actual gameplay. And then I got some gameplay and I still wanted to be like, I still want to be that guy who is not sold on it yet. And just little by little won me over a little bit more, especially when I heard apparently you can customize your character. Because the only thing I would have held back is that I think that the face on that guy looks terrible. Absolutely atrocious.
No, that's probably just what that guy wanted him to look like.
Because it's like the one bit of dissonance in a game like this where it's like wacky, cartoony, over the top. I want them to push that in the face, and I just kind of find it weird that he has like this pseudo-realistic face on top of this very cartoony, exaggerated body. And that's the one thing that bothered me. Other than that, it looks fun. I'm finally excited to say that I am excited for Sunset Overdrive as well. So now I'm joining the herd on this one.
All right, so now we have Cuphead.
Awesome.
That game looks so cool.
Best game of E3 already.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Everyone likes the 50s style, I guess. So.
Yeah,
I mean, it was really cool to see, especially as a game, to play that as a game rather than just watch.
Yeah,
so.
it's the beauty and all and like the seamless animation. Same thing with Skullgirls, where the animation, like it just works. It just works. It's like it's playing a cartoon, and that's amazing.
Exactly. Like, I've grown up on, like, Mighty Mouse, Felix the Cat, and Betty Boop and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not all that old. I mean, I had, like, videotapes of these things, but, it was really nostalgic for me, and I really wanted to play that game. So now we have Spectra. What was that game about again?
It was the racing game. Racing game that was
that's kind of like
Audio Surf.
Oh yeah,
F-Zero. Yes. I have no comment on it because I don't play those kind of games, unfortunately.
Yeah, neither do I. It looked really cool. I mean, it looked nice, but it kind of looked like Audio Surf to me, and I wanted to play Audio Surf for like similar reasons, I guess. So.
See, I really like racing games, and obviously since I liked Audio Surf when I played it, I thought that was pretty cool. So I'll probably try and pick it up or try it out sometime and then end up picking it up if I like it. And now we have
Fable Legends.
So does anybody else find it weird that whenever a co-op version of a game, specifically one where you're allowed to play as 4 players, always gets the like subtitle Legends? Like it's either Legends or Sagas or something like that. I just thought that was like weird. And the moment I saw Fable's Legends, I almost immediately knew it was going to be like this 4-player co-op beat 'em up kind of game. Why it has to be Fable, I don't know. I have like a horrible history with the Fable games and like broken promises and just like really mediocre games, like completely. And it's like one of the reasons I almost always stay away from Xbox, because like they keep putting stuff like that at the forefront, like, hey, even though we messed up last time, check out this Fable 2, check out the Fable 3. I'm just like,
well, people are buying it.
I don't dig it. I don't dig it. I was playing the last Fable game not too long ago and just was like, but this is not a review for Fable. This is us speculating about Fable Legends, and Fable Legends looks like the most fun Fable game, but that still isn't saying much. It just looks like this kind of game. The most interesting thing about it was someone being able to play the villain.
Yeah. See, I wonder
kinda
if
like
it would have been
right, where you're playing as the dungeon master. Woo.
Yeah,
I wonder if it would have been one of those games where if like you lost a title, would it be better or worse? See, like Silent Hill Book of Memories, if you lost the title of Silent Hill, maybe more people would like it, but if you put Silent Hill on it, a lot of like I've heard many reviews saying this should not have been a Silent Hill title, but if you took the Silent Hill title off, like would it have been
you sell less games. Game. It's kind of like the same thing with BioShock Infinite, where you have, because it's a BioShock title, you have to do very BioShock type things, even though the game and the narrative itself don't really lend to that. And that's kind of like what might be going on here with Fable Legends. Though, God forbid why anybody would be like, oh, a Fable title, let me buy that, especially nowadays. But it's like, if that's the best that they had for this type of game, they're like, okay, we want to sell some more Fable and this or whatever. We got this title, let's just build Fable on, let's put it out there. whatever gets the job done for them, it'll get the job done for me. I'll maybe check it out if people really want to play it, but that's about it.
So now we have Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
Lara Croft, please.
And everybody thought we weren't getting a sequel to the first Tomb Raider because it didn't do too good.
Did it not do well?
It did well, but by Square's predictions and like what they wanted.
So they didn't reach their goal.
They didn't reach their own personal, very ridiculous goal, mind you. They set like a stupid high bar, and they only just missed it. I think it was they wanted like 7 mil and they got like 5 mil. Don't quote me on that. You have to do the research on those numbers, but that's sort of what they were going for. And even then, it still sold a whole lot for a game, just in general. But they didn't get as much as they wanted. So
they obviously got enough to make a sequel. So
yeah, they got enough to make a sequel, and it looks. It looks awesome.
Absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that was it was a really good hype trailer. Sure, we don't see any gameplay, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get more or less the same thing we got in the previous game. Just really cool to see the rise of the Tomb Raider and like the whole idea behind this game, because a big complaint with the first game is that there's no tombs. Like
it was more like an origin story.
I mean, there were tombs to explore, but like
that wasn't the whole game.
That wasn't the game.
But this game is like making it a point to say, hey, this is the rise of the Tomb Raider. This is Laura becoming the Laura that you know and love from the past. And here's a big old tomb that she's going to be exploring the whole game.
That's awesome. Exactly. So,
all right. So now we have Evolve.
You get to play as the villain again. That's cool. Yep. Graphics looked sweet.
Yeah. It was a really cool shooter, and like Pat said, I like the graphics, and you get to play as the villain again. I don't know, there's a lot of tendencies I've been seeing with
a lot of trends with these things.
Cool thing though, these are by the developers of Left 4 Dead, so the co-op is going to be fantastic. Like it's going to be ridiculously good, and if I do get my hands on playing it, I'm going to be trying to play the support because that guy is a robot, and that looked awesome.
Ori and the Blind Forest. Just like some other platformers, like just the art style is like amazing. I'm really fascinated to play like that little white creature personally. I just want to experience that world and that story.
We're gonna assume his name is Ori for now, and
I don't want to get sad.
The art direction, the little bit of music that we hear, it's all like really well done, and
definitely
it's got that sort of like the same, it's got that indie cred already. Even though this looks like Microsoft is like really helping and getting hands on with this because their logo was all over it. So it's like this. I wouldn't exactly call it an indie title, but it's in that ring, like that area of creativity, and you can definitely see that. So I'm definitely interested to see how this game actually plays. We see some like hints at it. Like, of course, it'll be a platform, but I'm kind of interested to see if they do anything new with the mechanics and anything.
So now we have Dying Light, the zombie game.
I wasn't interested in the game until I guess the night mechanic. I mean, I guess I don't really play too many zombie games, so don't hold me to that. But when they added like the nighttime, I was like, ooh, okay, now I can get some chills here while fighting some zombies.
Like, I mean, I love myself some zombie games, but after a while it just becomes really dry, in the daytime especially, and it's just like, you lose that fear of like zombies that Resident Evil used to instill into you. But with that nighttime factor in Dying Light, I thought that was a really good touch. Okay, moving on. So now we have The Evil Within, the horror ghosty game.
That looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, just a lot of reaction shots.
Oh yeah.
So
once again, my turf right there. I need to play this game, even though I'm like deathly afraid of like ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts, but like,
I mean, I guess I would have liked to see more. But you brought up to me earlier, just like if they show too much, it kind of takes out the horror.
Yeah, with horror, it's kind of like less is more. I mean, you can always you could equate these the trailer for this to the trailers for like the Paranormal Activity, where it's a lot less of the movie and a lot just more of just people reacting to the movie, and that's supposed to be enough to get you to be like, oh, this game scares other people, maybe it'll scare me, so I'll play it.
Yeah, although it looked like he kind of, well, I guess from the trailer, I guess he could be like psychologically, I don't know, like there could be some sort of psychological problem.
There's some Silent Hilling going on.
Yeah, kind of like Silent Hill 2, I believe, or...
See, I don't know though, because that's more creepy rather than jump scary.
Yeah, that's definitely what this game looked like. It looked like people were like grossed out, weirded out, or just disturbed more so. There was a few jump scares, but that's a given. So yeah, that wraps up that not wraps up. Actually, I just want to sort of get what everybody's favorite game of the conference was so far. For Xbox, of course.
For Xbox, personally, I'm looking forward to Ori and the Blind Forest the most.
Not a bad choice, not a bad choice.
How about yours? I need time to decide mine, make it slow.
Part of me wants to also go with Ori. Part of me kind of wants to, put a little bit more hope, say Hyper Light Drifter, but I'm not really counting that for Xbox exclusively.
What about White Knight?
And then there's also White Knight. It's a really hard choice, but the creator in me is going to go with Project Spark only because I'm really interested to see how it benefits people like me. Because, as you guys know, there's a lot less of me playing games as opposed to me making games. I enjoy making things more than I enjoy just playing.
Right.
This game is more of a actual developer's kit than it is a toolbox. Then I'm gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought you would like it. So did you decide?
So I'm really tied between these 4 games, mainly due to the fact I want adventure, thrills, and chills. So right now I'm tied between The Evil Within, Dying Light, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and White Knight Noir, or White Knight, and I can't pick. Help me pick, please.
I'm gonna say White Knight.
White Knight,
because I think it needs to be mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mentioned it earlier, but I don't know. If I didn't like Ori so much, I'd choose White Knight next.
So yeah,
and of course, also, I'm sorry, in my third place, since I'm already going on it anyway, would be Sunset Overdrive.
So yeah, there you go. That's the Microsoft conference. Sorry we got to you so late. Here it is, and we hope to enjoy the rest of the E3 from here on out. Thank you, and catch our PS3 video coming up. PS4, PlayStation, Sony,
PlayStation 4
video coming up pretty soon.
And let us know what you guys liked in the comments as well. What did you like that's either on the list or not on the list? It could be PS4 related or Xbox related,
or what you felt should have been on the list. I mean, this is more so things that we either wanted to talk about or things that we actually like. Because there's actually quite a few games that we didn't talk about. We weren't interested
at all.
And some titles we do leave off for those who on our team who are much more well versed in them,
like the Halo.
So you'll get in-depth analysis from them come time. So yeah, we're gonna end this video here. Thank you for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe.